morning. Welcome to Writer's Right. I'm Ann Kimbrough, and I got to check my microphones. I was recording and doing some stuff, so I'm not sure you can hear me. Let's see. Yeah. Now you probably can hear me. I did have the other microphone selected. So, hi again. This is Ann Kimbrough. Welcome to Writer's Right, where we do many creative things at this computer. Checking the microphone should be my number one thing. How are you? Welcome to a Friday edition. But you could be listening to this and watching at any point. We're going to do two 25-minute writing sprints, and we'll get started here about 5 after the hour. So good morning. How's things? What you been up to? Let me try to get into chat. Give me a chance probably to see what you see. Yikes. Technology. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, here it goes. Friday. Well, I'm looking, I guess, towards next week and prepping. Too. Yeah, there it is. Oh. Let me, that's not the right one. Yeah, so American Thanksgiving is happening next week. There we are. Gotten into the chat. Let's see, how do I spell who? I should know how to spell who. I was just watching Doctor Who. Yeah, I've been taping the new season of Doctor Who. I'm a Whovian probably from David Tennant's time period. And yeah, I don't know. Part of me is just like I wasn't interested in watching it. I mean, it started at Halloween. Of course, I started I Scary on Halloween, so I was sort of busy. But I finally watched the first episode. I really liked it. So yeah, I'll probably be able to, I mean, they're still recording, but I think I have at least 4 episodes up already. Something like that. So it's nice to have something to binge. So what will I watch tomorrow, right? Actually, I'm too busy right now. We are in the middle of NaNoWriMo for those of you playing along at home. Oh, hey! There's Sergio! Good morning! Good to see you here. Hope you've had a good week. I've been a little creative. I've still been really focused on the podcast and promoting it. And I've learned a lot. I think I already shared the stats with you guys last time. But the numbers are still rising. I haven't checked it today. It can be quite addictive to go, how are my download stats? And I've tried to get over that. I think I'm getting over it, but I still I have to check. And then if they haven't gone up a ton in the last, few seconds that I checked, then you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong? But no, I'm really happy with the numbers, and sounds loud. And it's progressing, I love that it charted, and I did have so 31 downloads was right around when it charted on Apple. So all those weren't on Apple, but then I have 10 reviews on Apple, so that's huge. Anyone else who wants to leave a review, please do. Yeah, all that helps. People listening and the downloads, I think all help on Apple. Yeah, to be able to rank 200 in the US, I think that's huge out of 72,000 podcasts in my category. I mean, that really tells you how many podcasts are out there and just not doing anything if it only took 31 downloads. And whatever number that translates into on Apple, because like I said, it wasn't all on Apple. And then all the different advertising I've been doing for it, I feel like it all's working together. I still want to find that synergy to have a bunch of, because I feel like the majority of these downloads are my friends. They are. And so it warms my heart that I know enough people that cared enough to go listen, and hopefully I feel like they liked, because I feel like if someone gets into it, you might listen to a few of the podcasts, if not all. I have nine of them are up right now. And I've gotten to where I just put one up every Monday. Oh, here we go. We got to get our stuff going. We're writing. Are you ready for this? We're going to do our first 25-minute writing sprint. On your mark, get set, write. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, ready to give thanks. How about you? So I have family coming in for the first time in like forever since the pandemic. I've flown and met family somewhere in the U.S. before. I did that a few months back. Excuse me. So it's the first time someone from, we have a lot of Canadian family on my husband's side. So we've got a couple of them coming for Thanksgiving. Of course, it's not their Thanksgiving. Their Thanksgiving was in October. So they just thought they just found a good deal to come now. So that'll make it fun because I don't know. It's I don't really want to go too traditional because I feel like last year we didn't do it traditional at all. It was very slimmed down. So I don't want to shock the system, but I am doing a traditional meal because I like that meal, but I might be the only one. Because the Canadian family, they've already had their Thanksgiving, so they're, how many times I do the Thanksgiving meal also at Christmas. It's sort of a standard go-to, just some turkey, and I have a really fantastic recipe for sweet potatoes. I mean, they taste like candy. So that's always a good one, and you don't want to eat that too many times in a year. It has a lot of sugar in it. Hey, Allie! All right, get ready for work, girl. Thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Have a good weekend. Hope work is going well. Your new job. You're getting it done. Yay. Yay, my throat went. So anyway, I did have somebody come on. I don't know which episode they saw. It was one of the recent ones. And they said they really... I don't know, they said I had something. There was a nice compliment in their post. But they also said that... that this show is missing a hook, which tickles me. I mean, honestly, this is just for writers to do writing sprints. That's all it is. It's not supposed to have a hook or be fancy. It's for us. It is. So I appreciated the comment because it was mostly a compliment. But I don't know, I've had several people come to this show and not understand what the point of it was. And that's okay. It's, writers write. I mean, I've named it. I've created something that looks nice because that's just me. But writers write is just about us coming here to write. And there are a lot of people that use this afterwards. I don't know why. Maybe they just like to hear me talk. Maybe they actually come for the timer to do two 25-minute writing sprints. I hope that's what it's being used for. But this is the one thing in my life that I'm not promoting. I come here and do this because I like it. It does. When I first started this, I did do a lot of writing. Obviously now I do more talking than writing, but it does. To me, this creates this community. And when Sergio and Allie and Yvette and Andrew and Tim and who are regular fun people, there's others I don't want to miss out. There are several others that pop in from time to time. I mean, it's fun. It's nice for me. It does create a community. I do know that people are watching it after the fact. So, I mean, if it just helps 5 of us, that's fine. But it does launch my days on Mondays and Fridays because I work every day. I don't feel like I ever have a day off when it comes to creating something or promoting something. So to me, this has created a fun community a very tight community of writers and creators that are very supportive. I feel fully supported here, and I hope you guys do too. And that's what it's all about. That's the hook to this show, and that if it's a show. Oh. Well, that's cool, Sergio. I'm glad. I feel like Thanksgiving, because Sergio and I were talking about Thanksgiving. I do feel like it's evolved over time, because obviously it started as, I don't really know who brought it about, but it was a way to start it wasn't about the founding fathers, but it was about the people that sort of came here and got things going. And being thankful that they had survived a harsh winter and they had the help supposedly of the local indigenous people, and that was like a wonderful moment where they all were together before bad things happened. Before we took away their land. And anyway, it was the start of something that could have been wonderful, that it turned into what we are today. And the thing I like about America, with all its flaws, because every country is flawed, they all are, because it's all run by people. We're a flawed humanity. But what gives me hope about humanity is that there are a majority number of people always trying to do it better, trying to improve our society. And I just, I feel as writers, well, we are also have that opportunity to send out a positive message, and to say, even if a lot of times it's like, don't do this message, there's a lot to be learned in viewing or reading a story that depicts bad things happening, because I think subliminally people do take in that message and say, oh, I don't want that. Or for me, I feel like what I create is just entertainment, but entertaining people, I think, is important as well, because it can kind of calm you down. It's a way to leave the world you're in and experience something that you don't have to experience in reality, but you can experience it on a mental level that also can ease your pain, teach you things that you do or don't want in your life. I don't know. I think there's that whole part about fantasy and reality, that a little bit of both, it's really good. Maybe too much of either is bad. I don't need too much reality, and I don't need too much fantasy, right? Till you cross over and don't know the difference. But anyway, I feel like there's all good. I mean, I once got a job. I worked at an ad agency in New York City for a couple years, and I remember my boss once saying how he felt like, his job was kind of like had no purpose. Like, he felt bad that he wasn't out being a doctor saving lives or something like that. And I just felt that was a sad comment, because it isn't always about that. I mean, you can do good in your daily life. You can have purpose, by having a family, raising good kids, being a nice person, sending out good energy around you. So to me, if you're looking for something that high and to be out there saving lives, then you got to make a big change in your life. But everybody can't do that. So I don't know. He had his own issues, but I'm just trying to say that in a positive way, that we all have our contribution to the world. And as writers, you've got to double down on being a writer. If you have that skill, and you do have that skill, it's important. You can make a huge difference. And that's the great thing about what we do, is that we can reach a lot of people, but you'll never know. You'll never know the impact that your writing has had for other people. So just know that you do have that ability, that the stories you tell can lift people up. It can educate them in like the best ways to be educated. To me, the best ways to be educated are through experiencing things through story, because then I don't actually have to witness awful stuff right in your day-to-day life, which would damage you. And so people that do, you've got to feel for them. Anyway, not that there isn't many kinds of writing. Robert McKee says, well, yeah, Robert McKee, yeah, I've mentioned him before, haven't I? That guy's a character and a half. Yeah, I wouldn't put my world on everything about Robert McKee just because I've seen him in action in person, and wow. Let's just say he's a character, has a lot of experience, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't take my worldly advice from Robert McKee, sorry. Not if you've spent, I was just in one of his seminars. He came to town, and there was some kind of he has like a big story seminar he does based on his book, right? But then he has little like genre things you can buy too, and on the like a weekend. I didn't want to pay for the whole weekend, so I went to one of the little genre ones he did, and it was it was interesting. But it was more like he's a character, so it was more just seeing him perform or present, listening to him. That's not for the faint of heart. That guy, well, he doesn't pull any punches. I'll give him that. But anyway, but sure. It's important as a writer, I think, to have something to say, but we all have something to say. I'm sorry, we're all living life. So yeah, maybe your something to say is just carry on, fight the good fight. I don't know. Do you look at your writing and say, what am I saying here? I mean, I do. I mean, that goes down to theme and, well, to me, voice. Well, I think of voice because a lot of people talk about a writer's voice. And to me, voice is best explained that it is my opinion of the main character's situation that, comes through in the storyline. So that to me is my voice. It can also be writing style if you're writing a book. Obviously, that doesn't matter as much if you're writing a film. Obviously, your writing style is not what is part of the medium. Theme. Yeah. So many people don't understand theme, but yeah. What are you trying to say? But most of the time, I do feel like that's something a lot of people skip over, but it still comes out. I think the gist of the story, the moral of the story, it's still there whether you purposely sit down and chart it out. I don't know. The stuff I'm writing, they're mysteries, so there is less theme involved in them. The cozy mysteries that I write, obviously, it's all about the plot and the mystery. But there's usually probably a bit of a moral in there because the bad guy, whoever the bad guy is, it's kind of saying, don't be like this. This is where they went wrong. I guess there's a moral, but I actually do not plot theme because that's not what they're about. But many times definitely in screenplays, writing, the screenplays I've written. So the thing in Hollywood, people don't like to talk about theme. So I feel, because their eyes glaze over, because most people don't understand what theme really is, right? Because it's always been that it seems nebulous, that it's one of those things they're like, yeah, it's the moral of the story. What is it? And a lot of people have defined it in many ways that can help. Like, what's the question? I've had people that have taught it that way. What's the question that your story is answering? And I think as writer's theme and however you approach it, is something you have to go there, but it's not something you might want to plot it in the beginning, and maybe it's something that you look at after you've written your story. Sometimes theme is much more apparent after you have a draft, and so then it can really help you when you do the rewrite. To me, it can help with the through line. Every story has a through line, and your plot, if you can stick to this through line, which is the main story in your plotting, if you can stick to that through line, one of the ways to do it is by looking at all the different themes that you're pulling in, because you're not going to have just one theme, but there should be one main theme, because themes branch off, and I think that's where they get really confusing for some writers, is you can sort of chase down a rabbit hole. So plotting theme is definitely a thing to do. Just don't talk to other people about it. Like in Hollywood, if you sit down in a pitch meeting, don't tell them what the theme is. The best way to talk about it, if you have to talk about it in Hollywood, is to say what the central story question is and how it's answered within the plot. How that is answered throughout with all the main characters. So yeah, central question. Like, will Indiana Jones find the idol? Or no, that's not what he was after. But I mean, will Indiana Jones get the Ark of the Covenant from the bad guys? There was a bigger question maybe in that story. I don't know if there was. I mean, it is an action adventure film. But there was a story question. And there might be other story. I mean, within that story, there was also a, will Indy make things right with Marion, you know? So each character could have their own story. What's really important too about theme, and there are other aspects that relate to it, is everything has to go back to your main character or characters. You know, they have to feed, just like subplots there to illuminate whatever you're talking about for the main character. And that, I think people miss that. So theme is the same way. It has to keep wrapping back into the main character. So anyway, didn't mean to get so into it. Sinuses, man. The weather is changing here. I think I'm on the verge of turning the heat on. I'm like, it's chilly today. In a good way. I mean, we've been waiting for it to be chilly in Las Vegas for a while. I mean, let's see. Let me check the temperature. I think it's like low 60s today. So for many parts of the world, that's still really warm. But yeah. Let me see what it says. It says it's 57. Excuse me. But the weekend's going to get up into the 70s again, low 70s. And then next week for Thanksgiving, it's going to be a breezy. I don't breezy. It doesn't say it's going to be breezy, but it's going to be a chilly 66 degrees Fahrenheit. Those of you that need to translate to Celsius. They didn't teach us that at school. I think they do teach it in school now, but I still, I don't know, there's too many people that haven't been taught in the United States. We're all still stuck to Fahrenheit when the rest of the world is at Celsius. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, I hope the weather's treating you good where you are. I can feel the change. This is definitely, we're into fall, where the cold weather affects everything that's blooming. In Vegas, there's like, I feel like there's two big seasons of allergies. And it's when things first bloom, of course, but it's also when things stop sort of blooming. And in Vegas, we have a couple of colder snaps like this, where it's enough where some plants, different plants, think the season's over, so they die and then they let off more pollen. The last hurrah. But then the weather gets a little bit better and they come back and then they do it again. So this, right now, these weeks are... I should ask my husband how his sinus is, because we're allergic to different things. So usually when I feel a little congested, he's fine. And when he's congested, I'll ask, how are your sinuses been acting up? And if he says no, I'm like, oh no, that means that's going to get me. But if he's like, yeah, I've been so clogged, I'm like, oh, yay. Oh, no, not yay for him, but yay, I won't be. That's all about me, huh? No. It's pretty evenly affected. Let's see. Well, we've got a good 6 minutes left of writing. Get it done. I was actually doing some recording and editing. I've got this whole... So with the podcast, to boost and build the YouTube channel, which is the next step in our evil plan, I'm creating some little shorts. So really tapping into my screenwriting ability. And so I've got a little one. I don't know how long it'll end up being. I hope it's not going to be longer. Excuse me. Longer than 5 minutes? 3 minutes? I want it to be like a little short film. We'll see. Definitely under 10, because I'm just wondering how much the downloading, the uploading. I always have to create these things, store them somewhere, and then get them off my computer, because there's only so much you can hold on your computer. And I am editing a lot of sound. But this will be sound and video. I'm using still images, so we'll see. I recorded the audio for it. I have all the still images. So now I gotta start pulling it together. More editing. It's fun. And then I've got this book I want to work on. I've had it open. It's one I've been taking to my critique group. And of course the critique group isn't going to meet now until after Thanksgiving, so I should do some work so I'll have something to share. But I need to, what? I don't even know what I'm doing with it. I gotta find, I don't even know. So all I have is the one that I've been using in critique group that needs some, I can't do that now. I need to find my master. All I have is just a few pages. And I have changes to make. And I am still working on that Cozy Paranormal mystery. Sort of when I'm bored. We've been, of course, our hockey team, the Golden Knights, have been doing really well. They've had some bad games too, but they, for a team that has so many injuries, I mean, most of our top players are injured, and we just made a trade for this guy Eichel, who's an excellent player, but he had to have a major neck surgery. So who knows if he'll be able to come through that, but I think he will. They said the surgery went well, and but he's not going to be able to play for us, I don't think, this season. We'll see. But due to that, we've had a hard start to our season, if you guys are into hockey. But sometimes when we watch, I find it really hard to watch it. I mean, I can go live and watch and I'm fine, but, and now I guess since we've had such a rough start to the season, I shouldn't be as into it when I watch, but in past seasons when it got to the end and we were like in the playoffs and stuff like that, I could not watch it live. I mean, it would be, my husband would be watching it live and I would go sit in the living room and work on some writing. And so I could hear what was happening. But if I watched it live, I just get so anxious and angry at calls or what. I just get too into it. I'm way too invested for a hockey game. I don't want to work myself up like that. So even now, although I've gotten better at caring so much. But I still, when it's on and we're watching it live on TV, I'm always on my phone playing a video game or writing. I'll pull up my laptop and write because I can't watch it. So I listen to it, and if something good happens, I'll be able to look up and see the play and watch the replay. Isn't that awful that I'm so into it? Well, it's our teams. I'm sure you guys got some things like that, but it shouldn't be so bad that I can't watch it live because it's just too anxious. I don't know. It's good to watch with my husband though, because he's originally Canadian. I guess once Canadian, always Canadian, just like anybody from their home country. But he used to play hockey. So it's really fun to watch with him because he calls what's happened before it happens. He can see stuff, offsides, icing, whatever. He can call it before the announcers. And of course, he's always can't stand the announcers because all I can tell is that most announcers aren't very good. So the announcers really annoy him. And I don't blame him. Our local announcers, one guy, I honestly swear that his job is to just throw out random stats and just, I guess that's color commentary. I don't know. It's so bad though. The stats are well, that player, the last time he met this other player was 5 years ago in Milwaukee. I don't know. It's the weirdest stats. And it just makes my husband crazy. I'm sure that American hockey announcers probably pale in comparison to what he grew up listening to in Canada, which were probably much more about what you see on screen. Anyway, somebody likes these guys because they've got a job, but so sometimes we just have to mute them. We're we're a pair, right? My husband hates listening to the announcers, and I can't take the tension of our team playing and losing. Yikes. But we're fans. We're going to go to a game, too. Actually, right now, since they've been doing so bad, if they don't playing like a really popular team, because we're in a division that some of them are equally bad, it can be really inexpensive to go right now. All right, we did it. We did it. The Royal We. Congrats on your first riding sprint. It is checked off. But we have one more for you after we get our coffee. Yeah, see, your virtual coffee. I'm doing Green Mountain Nantucket blend. I don't know if that. Let's see. Yummy coffee. Is there any like beverage that you just like it makes your day? I mean, hopefully it's not an alcoholic beverage, but you know, I don't judge. Shazam. I haven't taken this out in like every now and then you should flush it with water. I should do that. But it's working. I can hear it. It just isn't I feel like it didn't go whoosh. So this weekend, outside of prepping for the holidays of Thanksgiving, if you are giving thanks, what you up to? What's going on? Baseball and boxing. Sergio's a fan. Oh, but you only watch boxing every now and then. Yeah, I never got into boxing. I mean, that's a Vegas thing too. But of course, it's not. I feel like in Vegas, it's all you got to go there, or you have to pay pay-per-view. I feel like it's not one of those things that you. God, I feel like my lights are a little too visible. I got to work with my. Yeah, boxing. I don't think I could get into that. People being like, it's all of that. I think is an incredible sport. But I don't like to see people hitting each other. I can't. Even football now, I just really worry about their brains. Like they take even hockey. I mean, they bash into the boards all the time, and I mean they have all those concussion protocols. Guys have to go off the ice and get checked if they hit the boards bad. But I mean, how could it not hurt? I mean, if I bumped into the wall, like if I bumped into the door jamb going through the door, I would have a bruise. And I would be like, oh, and 2 days later it would be sore. Excuse me. So I do not understand how you can skate around and ram into things and not just the next day feel awful. Or even that day. I mean, I know they dunk in their ice and stuff like that, which, do you know how painful that is to be dunked in ice water? I mean, I've tried it. It's so hard. I mean, I haven't tried dunking my whole body. I just once tried to dunk, I think an arm, a hand. Oh, I like really hurt my pinky just recently. I sort of tripped on my stupid shoes, and so my hand saved me. But in doing it, I totally sprained this finger, or jammed it or something. It was like, it looks fine now, but it was swollen for much of this week. And, think about it. I just, caught myself with my hand, I caught myself on the floor, but I was already, down. Anyway, I didn't fall, but I did sort of go over to this. I moved in a direction I shouldn't have been moving. So think about that. That was so minor, such a minor little thing. And a hockey player or a boxer, baseball, I guess you're a little bit safer unless the ball hits you, which happens. I mean, they're banging into each other all the time. They're banging into the boards in hockey. The side walls are called boards. Yummy. They have to have a lot of bruises. I mean, I know they're younger and they're in shape, but that still hurts. Yum, yum, yum. Coffee, good. Let's see. Oh, we gotta get going. Yeah, so I'm liking my new glasses, but I can't read the computer screen with them. They're defeating the purpose. I have my other glasses, which I don't like as much. I mean, I don't how they look. They're my fave, but I can read with them. You're on the bus going to work? You're so cool to tune in. Oh, well, 4:30 at night. Is it? Yeah, everything's darker. I mean, you guys do you have daylight savings time there? I don't know how many people go on and off of that, but obviously right now I think we're off. All right. Those that are riding and not on a bus right now, on your mark, get set. Right. This is your second riding sprint of the day. You're so cool to tune in, Allie. How are the bunnies? Oh, Allie, I saw your bunny pictures on Instagram. They were so cute. The white one, I mean, honestly, in that picture, the white one looked like a doll or, like a stuffed animal. It was so cute. I mean, I know that their work, and I'm sure they have their personalities, so they can be difficult, but they have to be cute. Can you pick them up and just cuddle them? Will they let you do that? I mean, if you can't do that, then there's no reason to have bunnies. They have to give you some love, some unconditional love. I mean, at some point, I really want to get a dog. I want a puppy that I can train, or I want to get an older dog that is already trained, but really lovable and cute. I mean, they're all cute in their own way. I'm just not at that stage in my life where I can do a puppy. I can't, or a dog. I can't. My house isn't set up for it. Yeah, talking about Thanksgiving and family coming. Yeah, I got to do some straightening. I mean, we're really straight. We're really clean kind of living people. But you can't see it. But over here, there are stacks of stuff. It's just like stuff. Especially as riders, you find out you just have too much stuff. Always have a lot of paperwork. And I'm good at filing, but once you file it, it's kind of like gone until for some reason you need something. So I have a lot of stuff over there that I need to clean up because of this becoming my new my podcast studio, which that's been delayed because of the fact that our second camera needs a battery. So we can't film it yet. Actually, I gotta follow up on that today. Note to self, help me remember. No. You got a 7 a.m. train. Wait. Oh, I see. Oh, your future university's open house. That's cool. What are you going to take again? Right, you're going to get licensed for something, right? Oh. What happens at 2 a.m.? You don't get me at 2 a.m., do you? I know that I always feel like you get me at the end of the day. What's great is that I'm still here recorded. And I can still say hi to you if you're not here. Law, right. I'm sorry. You can be a lawyer, a paralegal. I think any kind of knowledge like that is always good. Just for yourself. But great field. I mean, talk about something that will never go away. That's something we all need. Well, hopefully we don't need it, but somebody will always need it. All right. So I do want to... If I had like paper. I just never have paper. I have a book of paper, but yeah, I need to go through and say, what is listed here? Oh. Interesting. I am starting to plan season 2 of I Scary Podcast. And I have found, so I pulled my husband in. He's in some of the episodes. He's now, because I just needed somebody else that was nearby and I could. So we're going to do the first live one in the studio. I'm going to do with him. And I have a friend of mine who lives locally, of course. Everybody has to live locally to be in studio. In studio. My studio in I don't know, can you call it a studio? Sure. I mean, even if it's in my house, in a room in my house. Yeah. I'm doing it. It's a studio in my mind. Cheers. Let's see. So right now, yeah, it's 11:41 a.m. for Sergio. It's 8:41 for me. And Allie. Oh, you getting some food before work. I thought you said it was 4:30 p.m. Is it 4:30 a.m. where you are? I don't know. Let's see. What's the time difference between me and England? Let's see. Time. Before she'll probably tell us. Difference between Pacific time and UK. Oh, it just popped up. It's 8. You're 8 hours ahead. Oh, so it is. It is 4:42 in the afternoon or evening. Yeah. Well, that's what I thought. But you were talking about the AM stuff. So you're just saying you have to get up that early to, because you're going to work now, right? Do you also have to work? Do you do just like morning shifts and night shifts at different times? No, you can't. You're at a restaurant that wouldn't be open for breakfast, right? It's the Chinese restaurant. Yeah, so you're confusing us because I don't know what you're talking about, why you had to get up so early. But yeah, that's what I thought. That my breakfast is your dinner, basically. Thank God for Google. You know, I do feel like the ability to constantly Google to check if you're right about stuff is affecting our brains to remember things, so we are becoming stupider, more stupid, less intelligent. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So I'm going to go early. Oh, so you're talking about tomorrow's open house at the university. You're not a morning child. So you were saying then, I guess, that you usually like to stay up to 2 in the morning, but you can't do that and wake up to go to... I see. So because you're going to work now, so obviously you're going to work until... Do you work till 2? That seems really late. But maybe you don't get home till really early. So your sleep... Yeah, night shift is tough. Do you have help with your daughter? Because obviously you must. Everybody needs help with their kids. That's why I keep my husband around. No. It does help to have somebody else that it's as much their job as yours. Your night out. Me too. I mean, I used to like to say I'm noon. At noon I'm really with it. But the fact is that I do like to stay up late, or I don't know, it's like I get a second wind, you know? That's my problem right now, is I feel like I'm falling asleep like while I'm watching TV because I don't want to go to bed. And then I'll wake up and I'll start working on my laptop. So then I really do go to bed quite late. But I still have to, but my body wants to wake up at 7:30 in the morning. I was like, today I woke up at 6. But I felt like I got a lot of sleep last night. I don't know. It's good to be on a pattern that's consistent. And I guess my consistent pattern is weird. I unfortunately have things that tell me how well I'm sleeping. Like my bed is one of those sleep number beds, so it tells me that my sleep is at like 71%, which is not good. You want it to be in the 80s, 90s would be better. I get in the 80s sometimes, but I feel like it's wrong all the time. I don't, but then excuse me, then I got one of those watches, you know, that track your health and crap like that. They're really They're really demeaning, but I actually got to start using it again. Anyway, it confirmed that my bed is right. So I don't know. Okay, our clocks went back too. Probably for Sergio as well in Florida. I think Arizona right now is the only place that doesn't do it at all. So, but if our clocks go back, I believe that means our clocks are on. That's like if you didn't have any daylight savings time. This is like how it normally be. But it's so brutal. I mean, to me, this is when we should go on daylight savings time. It doesn't save me any daylight to be off it when the natural, it's darker earlier anyway. And then you take, well, I guess if you took an hour off, that does make it lighter later. It's like doing math. Scary, scary stuff. Bye, Allie. Thanks for jumping in. Have a great day at work. And have fun at your university open house. Yay! We're going to have a lawyer eventually, guys. We're going to have a lawyer we can talk to about law in the UK. Just think she's our source for when we need to use some UK law stuff in a story. Yum, yum, yum. That's really good. But yeah, I definitely feel the sinuses today for sure. Are you guys enjoying your weather changes? I mean, I imagine Sergio doesn't get too much of that. All right, just under 14 minutes left of your writing sprint. Yeah, I was going to try to make a list of what I'm doing today. It's very good to plan these things if you had paper. Actually, I have printer paper, which I hate to waste like this, but it won't be a waste because I need a list. I'm going to write down the things I want to work on and need to work on. So I need to edit that thing from the writers group. I need to work on my twisted news story for the YouTube channel. That's what I'm calling it, twisted news. So there are a few news stories that pop up because I find real news stories for the iScary podcast. And there's a few of them that, to me, there's probably not enough of a story. And something hasn't really happened. It's just like a weirdness. So I will put it in the blog. Excuse me. Oh, that cleared stuff up. Your body's amazing, right? Anyway, so I'm calling it Twisted News for these stories that all they really do is sort of spark my imagination. So the one I'm doing something about, I've mentioned it before. It's so I'm creating, there was this house in Lake Tahoe, Nevada, that was being sold, and it had all these mannequins inside of it. You had to buy it with all the, with all the junk inside the house. So I just sort of thought, creepy mannequins. Like there were like 5 of them in this house. So that just sparked my imagination. So I've written a story about that. So it's kind of like, so that's fictional, but that's what the YouTube channel is going to have. I think eventually we'll have some of the actual podcast on the channel, but right now what you see that's from the podcast is in teasers and trailers and clips. We do have video. We have recorded video for all of the shows. But I don't know, part of me doesn't really want to put them on YouTube. Mostly because I feel like they're not at the right level. They don't look right. Like, the problem is that when you record stuff like this with 2 people in remote locations and then you put the images side to side, one's head can be higher than the other head, and that bugs me. Oh. Wow. There you go, Serge. Good for you, Sergio. Yeah, you've got all that. You've got some great skills for, especially for a mystery writer. I'll have to ask you questions from time to time. um, what's weird? It's probably different in Florida. I'm sure it is because Nevada's quite unique in this. But there's a thing called mystery shopping. Have you heard of that? So I was briefly a mystery shopper a long time ago. But in Nevada, mystery shoppers have to go through a private investigation business, which is strange. I mean, other cities aren't like that. Yeah, so basically I worked for a PI, but I did mystery shopping, which was no way to make money. That was back when I was younger and looking for ways to make money. Oh, now I'm draining for real because I sneezed. But yeah, mystery shopping was. I've wanted to do a cozy mystery base, like the main character is a mystery shopper. I'm sure there's one out there already, if not multiple ones. Maybe I could just bring a mystery shopper into my other. Oh, that could be interesting. I also wanted to do one with a court reporter as the main character. Although I know nothing about a court reporter. I do know a judge, though. I have a friend that recently got elected to be a judge, and I went to see her in the courtroom, which was quite interesting because everything now, of course, because of COVID, there aren't really any people in the courtroom. It's all remote. Everybody, the lawyers. The only people in the courtroom are the judge, their clerks, and the bailiff, and me, any weird visitor that comes. But obviously, I could always ask her advice about my stories, but I don't want to waste her time. She's so busy, such a hard worker. I'm really happy that she's a judge. She's I think it's family court. It's nice to, because most times you don't know judges, don't know about them. Hopefully, if you do know about them, you have personal experience. So it's always hard, but it's to know if our judges are good or not. But I know her personally, and she's amazing. So it does my heart good to know I at least know there's one really good judge in our town. There's probably more than one. Let's hope. Oh, okay. So do you have to grant licenses to investigators, like mystery shoppers? Which it's so weird. It's a weird little business. I mean, you got paid something, but the pay was like awful low. I think at the time gas wasn't cost that much, but it was a lot of driving all over town to all these different little businesses. And in the beginning, I thought, oh, it'd be great, because a lot of them are restaurants. So you have to go in and you have to order like a full meal. So you have to order an appetizer and a main course and a drink and a dessert. So you thought, oh, great, I get a free meal. So yeah, you do get a free meal. But that's about all you get out of it. The pay is so minor. But the hard part of it is that you have to time everything. And it's, I think when I started this, it was before, obviously there were cell phones, but it's not like everybody had a cell phone. I used to go with my husband because it was nice to have two people. Oh, and you had to check the restrooms. So it was really hard to check a man's restroom if I didn't bring my husband. So I don't know, it just took the fun out of it. It wasn't worth the food. In a lot of places too, you had to go to a store, and you had to. I remember once having to go buy sneakers, and then you had to return them. So you had to see how the process. So it was really hard. The one store they wanted me to go to was out of town. It was there's a place called Primm, Nevada. And there's a big mall there. So I had to go there. And so it was quite a drive to go there. And had to return something. So I had to buy it and return it 10 minutes later. Don't you think they knew I was a mystery shopper? That's weird. I don't know. So anyway, I know enough about mystery shopping that I could write a character about it. Oh, so you're saying yes. Okay, cool. Well, I guess technically it makes sense to me that mystery shoppers are under some kind of supervision, except you're not supposed, you're supposed to not, no one is supposed to know you're a mystery shopper when you're shopping someplace. They really aren't, Although I did once have to do a mystery shop at a casino, and it was in, it was at the New York, and they used to have this, I think it's still there, but they had this upstairs area for kids to play more stuff. It was like, it was like a carny park kind of thing. They had all those games and video games and all this stuff, but they had a lot of those games you could play and win a prize, like a stuffed animal. And you were supposed to go up there and I had to try to bribe one of the people working to give me the stuffed animal, which I didn't like that. I feel that's kind of when I decided I'm not going to do this anymore, because I felt like that really crossed the line. But they were trying to find people that could be bribed, I guess. They must have had some issue if that was what the job was. But if someone actually took your bribe, like if you said, hey, let me just give you $20, give me a stuffed animal, then you were supposed to, do it. But then you're supposed to leave and immediately call somebody, and they were going to, that person would have gotten probably fired on the spot. That I did not like. I'm like, oh man, that's but obviously that does to me seem like a private investigator kind of job. But I'm happy to say no one took the bribe. I don't know. Returning stuff was one thing. Trying to find someone that was stealing on the job, that was another. Because honestly, when I got into mystery shopping, it seemed to be about quality, right? And service. It wasn't about finding people that were stealing from the employers. But I guess true mystery shopping should include all those things, because they're all important. I think it's cool that you're a private investigator. So I just think of all the stuff our little group of people knows and can help out. So feel free to ask if anybody's trying to fact check something. You can definitely put it in the comments, and we'll put it to the group. We'll see who knows what. I mean, that is the cool thing about even having Facebook friends and stuff. I bet most questions you could get an opinion. I mean, obviously, opinions are opinions, but if somebody has some actual experience, it's nice to take the research you do and ground it in somebody else's experiences. And if you can find multiple people with a similar kind of experience, it can really add to your stories. That authentic. I know a lot of times I've written screenplays about the main characters had different fields than anything I was used to. And in writing authentic dialogue, I definitely did research into the slang in whatever that job was. That doesn't come up a lot, but it does come up. It's nice to sometimes pepper. Well, I've definitely done it when I've written certain, some younger characters. Especially if if it's grounded in some kind of time period. I've done it a lot in some book writing for when I've written characters from the 1800s. I've gone back and Googled what their curse words were at the time, or just some of their colloquial sayings. A lot of inappropriate things that you can't use, I'll tell you that. But it's sometimes nice, I think, to drop in little things like that in dialogue. Really just makes it seem more authentic, like you know what you're doing, like you've actually tapped into these people. Yeah, someone from 1870, I tapped right into them. I just called them up, said, how did you guys used to talk? Retail investigations. Then you just write up. That's totally mystery shopping. Have you had to do any mystery shopping kind of stuff? I remember someone that I was working for through at the time, they had much bigger jobs, and one of them they did was on a cruise ship. But they told me, it sounds great. You get to go on a free cruise, but they said it's terrible because you spend all your time writing up all these things you have to do. And I agree. I've already been on a cruise ship and for making a TV commercial, and that was bad enough. I don't know. I'm like traumatized from that. I never want to go on a cruise ship. It doesn't sound fun to me. I'd rather just fly and go to a place and hang out at the beach, not on a cruise ship with a bunch of people that you don't know, where you might get stuck, especially after the COVID stuff. I'm like, you're risking a lot. Don't hate me, cruise lines. I'm speaking from my own experience. I was traumatized on a Royal Caribbean cruise. I don't want to do it again. I need to be somewhere where I could swim to shore. All right, that's the end of our second writing sprint. How did you do? I hope you were massively creatively successful with your time spent here. And you got a weekend. Hopefully it's a weekend where it's your actual weekend, because I know people have different days off. But if you have a weekend, I hope you can get some work done. And then next week, we've got a holiday week. So if you have some time off then, I hope you also get to spend it writing. I mean, for those doing NaNoWriMo, this is probably the big push to meet your writing goals. And I encourage you to just give it all the time you can, and don't feel sad if if you feel like your goals are, here and you're getting here. At least you're not down here. I mean, goals are important, but I think the best part about goals is they give us progress. So if you're making forward progress, you're doing it right in my book. Just saying. Let's see. Liv, hi. The cruise lines are coming for me. Yeah, luckily luckily this channel doesn't reach that many people, hopefully. Oh, thanks for popping in. Yep, we do 2 writing sprints every Monday and Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time if you want to catch us live, the Royal Us. Otherwise, they're recorded. You can play them back at your leisure. I tend to talk through them, so feel free to mute me, but the clock keeps working. Anyway, have a great writing, and I'll see you guys Monday. Thanks for joining me.